This episode is brought to you by Smart Food. There are a bunch of ways to be smart during the holiday season. Getting the shopping done early, not sitting your aunt next to your mom, and snacking on Smart Food popcorn. It's air pop popcorn tossed in delicious white cheddar cheese or sweet and salty kettle corn. You are what you eat. Welcome to the Smart Club. Shop now at snacks.com.
Hello out there in Radio Land. This is Hank Hill, Assistant Manager, Strickland Propane. Come on down to Strickland where you can get a great deal on the new Char King 320 propane grill. We have other propane grills and propane accessories for your grilling needs. So come on down. Mention this ad for an extra 5% off of your next propane tank fill-up. That's Strickland Propane, Harlan, Texas. Have a great day.
Bwaaa! Bwaaa trash fight all through the night, deep in the heart of Texas. The trailer park is nice and dark, deep in the heart of Texas. That drinks his brew and he spits his chew, deep in the heart of Texas. The TV blares but no one cares, deep in the heart of Texas. Here we go!
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Bwaaa, King of the Hill Rewatch Podcast. I am Mike.
And I'm Rusty.
Rusty, we got a guest.
Yeah, we've got a guest today. It's one
Introduce
of
that
our
guest.
it's one of our social media followers, specifically on Twitter. We interact back and forth. It is Seth with us today, and he
Hey there,
specifically
Seth.
asked to be a part of this episode specifically.
Really?
He had asked around Thanksgiving, "Are you guys going to run through this episode? I want to be a part of it." You know, and then he started doing the timeline of when we were going to record it. And
Wow.
he said, "Well, hey, when are you doing this?" And I was like, "Well, it'll be Saturday." So here we go.
It's a dedicated man.
It is a Saturday recording for a Monday episode.
Yeah, guys, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. I've been looking forward to this for a long time.
Cool.
Just so happens college football is kind of on hiatus, so
That's
kind of
it.
works out for me at the same time. So
What do you?
looking forward to it.
Who are you a big fan of?
Very big fan of the Georgia Bulldogs.
Georgia Bulldogs. Wow,
Bulldogs.
you've had a good run.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, you had a good team to
Yeah.
support. That's a good team to support. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
great.
great couple of years for them.
Well, if you're ready, Seth, let's get started on this sucker.
Yeah, let's go for it, guys.
All
Looking
right.
forward to it. Let's do it.
Well, Rusty, we are all the way in season 3, episode 7.
Yeah, we've made it to episode 7.
9
Somehow,
pretty
some
darn
way.
angry men.
Yeah, 9 pretty darn angry men.
Seth, what's your tie to this thing?
So to King of the Hill overall? Or
Yeah,
just
give us
yeah,
that,
yeah.
and then this one. Yeah, and then this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've just been a huge fan of King of the Hill probably since about 6th grade. Started watching in syndication. I think the first episode I saw was Square Peg and Dale's whole, you don't know who I am, but I know where you live. And, like, that had me hooked from, like, moment one. And,
That's awesome.
So just been watching it from there, rewatch over and over again. The Hulu algo, like, at this point, like, lets me watch, like, 15 episodes before it asks me if I'm still watching. So,
That's great.
yeah, I think I've made it.
That's really great. That's really great. I love that that's the bar for you, that you've made it. That it'll let you watch 15 in a row.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it really does. If you start watching a show that you haven't ever watched before and you watch like an episode or 3, it'll have that alert saying, "Hey, you've watched too much. Are you sure that this is something you want to continue with?" But if you watch if you watch one series over and over and over, eventually it realizes, oh, this dude is depressed, and it just lets you watch as much as you want. No, I'm just kidding.
It has helped me through some tough times.
Yeah, it does. You
For
know,
sure.
it's one of those shows. It's just such a comfort, and I guess that's why me and Mike started this podcast, because the amount of comfort that we get out of this show in our personal lives as well.
All right.
Yeah, you guys have really brought a lot of joy.
Well, thank you, man.
We
We really
appreciate that so much.
Yeah.
It means a lot to us as we continue on this this endeavor, which sometimes is grueling.
It is. It is
can
a
be
grueling endeavor.
sometimes.
Yeah. So we're starting this one out in the alleyway. All four guys. Hank's sitting on the mower, and he's telling them about how great the Mason 1500 is. Good old Mason 1500 handles like the day I bought her. I tell you what, it's the only mower you want with me. If I were ever stranded on a desert island. Not sure why you'd have a mower on your desert island.
Yeah,
but-
what are you going to mow?
You're right.
Yeah, well, you could. It could be kind of like how they have the Japanese Zen gardens.
Yeah.
You could do something like that in the beach sand with a Mason 1500 mower.
Sure.
That could be a selling point.
You only
They should
have
use that in the focus group.
You only have so much fuel, though.
Well, solar power, right?
Solar powered Mason 1500.
Well, the Mason 2500 would probably have like a
We-
solar power option.
We find out that that's not the greatest mower in the world, though. Dale pipes up and gives us basically the entire plot of this episode and says, "You're going to kill it at that lawnmower focus group tomorrow, Hank." Hank says, "Now, Dale, a focus group is not a competition. It's a chance for the informed lawnmower consumer to give valuable input to the Mason Corporation in a comfortable mall setting." Have you ever been part of a focus group?
No, but I've had to focus while being in a group. But I've never been a part of a focus group for a product or nothing. No, oh, actually, I have. Sorry,
Yeah?
I take that back. I actually do a lot of video game testing, like with early betas and early alphas and stuff with like video games, and that's like a focus group, because sometimes they'll pull us into a Zoom call. It'll be like 4 people that just got through playing this game for an hour or two, and we kind of discuss it with. I mean, it's not paid. They pay you in video games. They
Gotcha.
give you free games and stuff.
Yeah.
But EA specifically too, they'll give you a choice of like picking 2 of their games for free. But yeah, I've done that a few times.
There was I was going through a mall one time, and that is not what I was looking for. I was going through a mall one time, and they stopped us, and this was like I think it was in Austin or San Antonio, one or the other. They stopped us, and they said, "Hey, would you like to come in and help us screen a movie?" And so I know that they do those a lot.
Yeah, knowing you, movie.
Yeah, it was great. But the problem is, you don't get to pick the movie or anything. It's just whatever's coming out. And so, unfortunately, the movie we screened was Loaded Weapon 1.
Loaded Weapon 1
with Emilio Estevez.
Wow!
It's a National Lampoon property,
Oh,
and it is not a funny movie.
is it supposed to be?
Supposed to be like an airplane version of like Lethal Weapon movies and stuff.
Oh, well, they already did that though, didn't they? No, never mind. It was Leslie Nielsen did. It was James Bond. He was spoofing, right?
Well, he did a James Bond
Naked
thing,
Gun or
but
whatever.
Naked Gun is more of like the TV cop drama stuff.
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah. Kind of like the Miami Vice.
Yeah,
and
which anytime you want to do
Columbo?
something on
Wasn't
Naked
that a cop
Gun,
thing, Columbo?
I'm happy. Columbo was he was more of a detective. Yeah,
like a Sherlock Holmes type.
kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Sherlock Holmes in a trench
Okay.
coat kind of thing.
I'm gonna have to go watch the reruns of Columbo.
I'm just telling you that Loaded Weapon was 1993 also, so that gives you some time frame of when it was.
You said Emilio Estevez, and he not going with the name Sheen kind of
Yeah.
ruined his career.
Well, I mean, he had a pretty good career.
He had
I
a
think.
great career, but I mean, he's no Tiger Blood. You know what I mean? He wasn't doing 7-gram rocks or nothing with his
Tiger
brother.
Blood.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it wasn't for Mighty Ducks, Emilio probably would have kind of fallen off the map.
That's true.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
that
Entirely.
and the one where he was
Wasn't
the
he in
trash
The
guy.
Outsiders though?
He was in The Outsiders.
He was in a
yeah.
few.
yeah.
See, just being Charlie Sheen adjacent kind of
Well,
helped him
he
out.
was he was part of that Brat Pack young group, in the 80s and 90s. So
Yeah.
he was able to be in some of that stuff.
Oh yeah, speaking of focus groups, my buddy posted on Twitter yesterday, and I thought it sounded really suspect, but he said, "Yeah, 2 girls are coming over to my house to look at my gaming setup. I'm a part of a $250 focus group."
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know
wow.
what that was.
Okay.
Number one, I was
No contact from him since. Hope he's still still alive.
I was out on that one when you said 2 girls are coming to look at my gaming
It
setup.
sounded like an organ harvesting.
You didn't even have
experience.
to get to the 250.
It's like they're paying him $250 for his kidneys. Yeah.
Women/video games. Nope, that didn't happen. Bill pipes up and says he thinks it's just an honor to be invited to a focus group, which is ridiculous. By the way, the loaded weapon one thing, the one thing I did get out of it is I saw the movie after we had screened it, when it actually came out. Yeah. And there was a whole bunch of scenes that they had taken out and stuff. Oh, wow. Like the movie wasn't quite complete.
So when you
that was kind of cool.
You watched like half of a movie.
Well, you got to see scenes that weren't necessarily finished.
Yeah,
that weren't edited all the way.
Yeah, so it was like green screens in the back and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was
blue suits.
Real highlight of my life. Hank says, I'll tell you why we got to go tomorrow. Look at your average pickup truck with the airbags and vanity mirrors. It's one focus group away from turning into a powder room. We can't let that happen to the Mason 1500.
What does that even mean?
Well, I think Hank is veilly saying he doesn't want it to be a women's lawnmower.
Oh,
it's just soft.
Yeah,
turns you soft.
Exactly.
Like airbags.
There's no grass in the kitchen.
Airbags do turn you soft. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Those damn
real
vanity
man
mirrors.
don't need them.
This is 2 episodes in a row where we've referenced vanity mirrors.
Oh yeah, you're right.
The last one was Peggy with her vanity mirrors.
Her vanity mirror.
Bill, he says, we sure can we? And Hank continues on his rant. Bill, the only reason I invited Dale and Boomhauer and not you is because you're coming over for Thanksgiving dinner. I didn't want to get you sick of me. Bill was really dejected because he wasn't invited.
Yeah.
Bill says, oh, Hank, I'd never be sick of you, not even when we're sharing a cloud in heaven.
Whatever the hell that means.
So, Stephen Root saying, a cloud in heaven is just the greatest thing in the world. Hank gives up, says, all right, you can come, but when I make a point, you just nod, and Bill just shakes his big dumb head. Hank's mom sticks her head out of the sliding glass door in the back and says, Hank, you asked me to tell you when Celine Dion is off the field, she's off. Hank says, thanks, Mom. Not a big fan of the halftime show.
One of the things Artie pointed out, too, here is that...
what's up, Artie?
Gary Kasner's not with Tilly in this episode.
Yeah, it's true.
So
I don't know where he's at.
Tilly's alone in this episode, which he feels like once we get further on, we see how, hateful Cotton is, which we already know how hateful Cotton is towards his ex-wife.
Sure.
But he says maybe that's why he was emboldened. Maybe he wouldn't have been so vicious if
I don't think so. I don't think he would.
Gary Kasner was in the room.
Gary would have probably punched him in the face.
Yeah, he probably would have.
Yeah,
and he's probably in a better shape too.
Yeah,
I feel like Gary Kasner is probably fitter. Walking the golf course.
Well, he has had the open heart surgery though.
Yeah, he did. But maybe he's fitter after that. Maybe he's
taller.
Better having done it.
He's just taller. He could literally just
punch down, literally punching down
or punting.
or punting.
Just punting. So Hank looks at the guys and says, "Aren't moms great? Tell you, I'm thankful for my mom's turn. It's my mom's turn to spend Thanksgiving with us."
Which he likes. He prefers his mom's turn. You can tell in his voice how relieved he is. He's not like, if it was Cotton, there would be like a list of things that he would have to be thinking about and managing. But with his mom, he just didn't have to worry. He could sit out there and sip beer in the alley and
that's right.
Not have to watch the halftime show with Celine Dion.
He's Celine Dion. She's in a wheelchair.
I didn't know that.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
I mean, really?
She's deteriorated like quick. Her husband died.
Her heart will go on.
And then she... That's good stuff.
Yeah, nice her heart will always go on.
Yeah. So he's regaling the boys about how great it is to have your mom around when car pulls up, and of course it is Cotton and Dee Dee
in the Cadillac car.
In a Cadillac car. He said, "You lawn jockeys were standing out here when I left 2 months ago. Pathetic." And I just want to point out that Dee Dee's shirt over her big pregnant belly just says "occupied."
Oh, yeah. I saw that.
Lovely. Yeah. Hank says, Dad, you came last Thanksgiving. This year it's Mom's turn, remember? Well, I don't cause any fuss. Your mother can eat in the yard. Eat in the yard. This guy's such an asshole.
Yeah, he's rough.
So next scene, we see Hank and Peggy. They're putting the extra leaves into the table.
Yep.
Pushing that sucker together, and Hank's going on. He says, now, in addition to all the things we normally don't talk about in front of my dad, let's add my Mason Company focus group.
Yeah, he doesn't want his dad knowing about that.
Peggy doesn't give a crap about the focus group, number one. But she says, how could you be worried about the focus group? Your father is going to ruin this Thanksgiving, and surely a Squanto, and his band of Indians ruined the first one. You couldn't say that today.
That's a deep cut.
That is a deep cut.
That is
She's
a
not
pretty
very.
deep cut,
She's not very conscious.
Squanto. She says, oh, will you look at the time? We got to get this dinner on the table because we are getting up at 4 a.m. tomorrow. Hank's just like, what? She says, it is a two-hour drive to the mall?
Well, you got to think. This is small town Texas in the 90s. When did we get our first big mall? It wasn't until the 80s that this mall in our town was built.
But
so it was.
My argument here is that it seems like there is so much in this friggin' town. But you're telling me they don't have a big mall?
Maybe they went to Dallas.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if
the only way
Hank
that would
would
make
go to
any
Dallas.
sense.
The debutantes.
Damn it, Mason.
The Dallas
no
Cowboys
six
and the
malls.
debutantes. Yeah.
That's right, the big one. She says, it's a 2-hour drive to the mall, and I want us right there when the doors open. Hank says, I have never gotten up that early in my life unless fish were involved. Just sounds like my father.
Yeah.
Peggy says, Hank, the day after Thanksgiving is, in my opinion, the biggest shopping day of the year, in her opinion.
Yeah, which
Not
again,
the
it's a very
world's,
well-known fact.
just
again,
hers.
Yeah, again,
Yeah.
that's what Archie said here. He said Peggy once again flexes her intelligence, her
Oh, yeah.
quote-unquote
Oh,
intelligence.
yeah, she's super
she's-
intelligent. She says, in
she's a
my
space cadet.
opinion, the biggest shopping day of the year, and I will not spend another year giving Dallas Mavericks crap because the Cowboys stuff was all sold out. I want us in bed by 7:30. I think that is a wonderful cut to the Dallas Mavericks, which I am not a big fan of.
Yeah, yeah, you're a Spurs fan, huh?
Yeah, that made me very happy. Hank says, I won't be able to fall asleep that early. She goes, you are not even trying. Have another beer. He says, oh, well, it's worth a shot. That's how alcoholism starts.
Well, I don't know
What
if
a
that's
talk
how.
about Peggy there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that's how alcoholism starts, or if that's how alcoholism is. He's already like
Oh, sure.
past
Enabled.
past the start.
Oh, she's
point.
definitely an enabler.
It's like,
yeah.
oh, you're not sleepy? Okay, well,
Here's a beer.
here's another beer.
So later that evening, you can tell it's kind of dusk time. Everybody's around.
I never got sleepy. Like,
with beer.
well, like if you're drinking and it's 7 o'clock in the afternoon, and I drink like
7 o'clock in the afternoon.
yeah, well, I'm
In that evening?
Well, depending on what lifestyle you live, I guess it could
Okay.
be
All
could
right.
be midday, could
All
be
right.
evening, could
Sure.
be early morning.
Midday.
Yeah, but
Right.
the afternoon, if you're drinking in the afternoon, I just don't get the sleepy feel. Like if I'm drinking at night, yeah, I'll get tired.
Yeah.
But if I'm day drinking, I don't get the like, oh, I need to go take a nap feel. I'm just like, oh yeah, let's go.
I used to drink just to take a nap.
Yeah, I don't. It
Yeah,
just, I never got
absolutely.
the effect from that.
Yeah, let's sack out.
Yeah, but not the light beers. Not
Well,
like they're
that's,
drinking.
that's true. Not the
You
Alamo.
know.
Yeah, they're not drinking.
Not
They're
the
out there
Alamo.
drinking
Like a Miller Lite over
American
here.
Pilsner. If you're drinking an American Pilsner, you could drink it all day long.
Right.
Made from
Yeah.
rice.
Made from rice.
Rice.
Pilsner,
Yeah, the
Bud Light, and all that's
like
rice.
Bud Light and all that stuff. They went to rice a long time ago.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Because it's so much
Mm.
cheaper.
Is that also higher sugar content and stuff because of rice?
I don't know about that.
You don't know about that?
But I do know that rice is so much cheaper than using
Well, I know you could
the
suck
grains
down a
and
pack
stuff.
of Michelob Ultras as fast as you could drink 12 waters.
Michelob Ultra is one of the lightest beers I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it's almost not even a beer.
It's almost non-existent.
It hydrates you.
Yeah, it
Like
hydrates you.
they give them to like you know.
That's the line right there.
it
Does it
hydrates
hydrate
you.
you? Does it not hydrate you? On the
It
flow
hydrates
chart of beers, that's it right
Because
there.
alcohol's supposed to dehydrate you, of course, but
Oh, sure.
I don't ever. I could drink Michelob for
Yeah.
infinite, and I just never. It's just like you're slugging them, and you're like 12 in, and you're like, where's
Well,
the beer at?
I think it's only like 2.5% alcohol.
That's
or
probably
something
what
like
it
that.
is.
It's just
Well, I know when I
nothing
went to
there.
England, I drank this beer that was called is the Pink Elephant, I think was the name of the beer or something like that. Well, over there, when you drink beer, they give you the beer in the manufacturer glass that's meant to go with the beer.
Yeah, sure.
So they bring out this like goblet shaped with a stem on
Yeah,
it. It's almost it almost looked like a short fat wine glass.
Yeah.
But they bring it out. It's got little pink elephants on it.
It's almost like a snifter.
Yeah, well, I put 2 in the hole because we were just playing. It was like a board game place, and it was a high content beer, and only wanted to, I was like, I'm paying for what I want now, and that's all I'm going to drink. To limit myself, kind of thing.
Sure.
Well, I drank 1, and I was like, yeah, bud, you're just going to have to bring my money back on the other beers. I'm good. This
Really?
one beer was so tough.
Yeah.
It was like a 15% alcohol in a beer.
Yeah, it's more like a wine.
And I was drinking it like I would drink a beer, and I was, you know, kind of hitting it heavy so I could get my other two out of the way.
Sure.
Oh, it was rough. Yeah.
And you still didn't get sleepy.
No, I don't get sleepy from, I don't know, alcohol. I mean, unless I'm drinking in the middle of the night or something, but, you know, if I'm day drinking, no, I don't get sleepy from it.
So we're later in the day, which is kind of weird because they're having Thanksgiving, it seems like really late in the day. It seems like dusk now. But anyway, they're all sitting around the table. You got Hank, Tilly, Bill. You got Bill, Bobby, Luann, Peggy, Dee Dee, and then Cotton, of course, sitting at the other head of the table. So you got Hank at one head of the table, Cotton at the other head of the table. Hank is praying. He says, "Dear Lord, we are grateful that Cotton has forgotten our carefully worked out holiday parent rotation schedule so we may all be together on this day. Amen." Everybody says amen.
Such passive aggression.
It is passive aggression, but he just so rarely acts on it. You know, it's rough.
Yeah.
Cotton says, of course, he's burping and chewing loudly. He said, "Tilly, did you make this stuffing? Because it tastes like garbage." And,
hey, you got to put the pause in there.
Does
it taste like garbage?
Because it tastes like garbage.
Like garbage. Yeah, I like how he talks. I love his
He
voice.
says, "Did I ever tell you about the time she tried to poison me with a baked chicken?" She says it was chicken almondine.
Chicken
said,
almondine.
It was cyanide, woman.
Almondine.
I'm assuming chicken with almonds.
I would assume so. Like you
Do you
told me,
get, what do you get cyanide from?
oh, cyanide.
Is it a peach pit?
I don't know. I know nightshade, like particular plants that fall into the nightshade category.
Sure.
I know that tomatoes, the greens off of tomatoes, are potentially poisonous to eat.
Oh yeah.
You're only supposed
Who's
to
eating
eat
those?
Well, you got to think.
Who's
that,
eating the
like,
stems?
Well, nobody's eating the stems, but you got to think like early. No, I'm not even gonna say early civilization. Probably like 100 years ago, they would boil like everything that you could use. You would use in a way, but you couldn't with tomatoes. It didn't matter how much you boiled it or whatever. It would make you sick. It's just like with poke salad. You're supposed to like boil the crap out of poke because if you eat it when it's kind of
Do you know Annie?
Annie Poke.
Poke salad Annie?
No, I don't know poke salad Annie, but I know poke salad.
That's an old song.
And there was a joke that my dad always used to say. He said, what was it? Something like, "Oh yeah, we used to eat poke and grits. Poke your feet underneath the fire and grit your teeth."
All right, so Hank,
chicken almondine. Sorry, I had to look up, make sure to see what it was. So it is a chicken crusted with almond slices. Well, it doesn't even look crusted. Sorry, it looks like literally almonds on top of cooked chicken.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah. Sure.
It looks like a very
well, you like roll it in the chicken. It's
very
almost
Caucasian meal.
It's like shake and bake, but you use almonds.
Yeah, well, there was no seasoning on it or anything. It just literally said almond chicken.
Well, I think it's assumed that you use salt and pepper.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Seems overly complicated.
It does seem overly complicated. Yeah,
That's
just
for sure.
put some almonds on the table and have some chicken. Yeah.
It sounds atrocious. I wouldn't understand. I don't know what a tree nut would taste like with a chicken.
Hank does pipe up and say, "Dad, could you please show Mom some respect while Bobby's in the room?" While Bobby's
this is why he's there. Yeah.
He said,
"You heard him, Bobby. Leave the room.
Leave the room." Hank said, "No, sit down, Bobby." And Bobby honestly pipes up more than Hank does. He says, "Could you at least respect Grandmom until we get to dessert?" Cotton says, "Dee Dee's your grandmommy too, Bobby. You're pretty, Grandmom."
It's kind of weird.
Such a shitty.
Well, not only shitty, it's kind of like it's kind of weird. It's like a gross thing to say.
He is just super gross. I literally wrote down here, "Cotton is gross," and circled it.
Yeah. It's terrible to tell your grandson that. I mean, it's just weird. And not only is it like terrible to say, it's just weird as hell to say.
It gets worse because Hank speaks up and says, "Dad," trying to stop him, says, "Of course, bad as Tilly was in the kitchen, she was even worse in the bedroom." Everybody collectively gulps at the table.
"I said the woman was lousy in the sack."
It's just terrible.
He had to make sure everybody heard what he said. Yeah.
Yeah, let's clarify that.
Yeah.
Everybody literally turns their head and looks at Hank. Bill, of course, to break the tension like an idiot, he gets up and says, "To the stuffing." He clanks his spoon on the glass and says, "Might taste like garbage, but it sure fills you up." What a compliment.
He just can't stop. He's on like a steady stream of vitriol and hate coming from this man.
Well, Bill has zero filter.
I think he's constipated.
He doesn't know what's going on.
I think Bill is constantly constipated, so all of the, like, same with Cotton. They're so constipated that all the shit has to come out of their mouth instead.
I think Bill's just an idiot.
Yeah.
But okay,
That is
so
nice brown.
we're back in.
Cardigan on there.
It's night now, and we're in bed with Hank and Peggy. Which watching this show, like the first 40 times or whatever I watched it, I didn't realize how much time we spend in Hank and Peggy's bedroom. It is a lot of time.
You got to just think, though, of course, the first sitcom to ever do that conversation in the bedroom was Lucy. But imagine how
Separate
many
beds.
Yeah, separate beds too. Or the dialogue in the bedroom, like in any sitcom. Just think back on every sitcom you've ever watched and how many scenes there are of bedroom conversation with a couple laying in bed. Whether it be Friends, Seinfeld, Frasier, any of the sitcoms you could think of, Tim the Tool Man, Home Improvement or whatever.
Yeah.
All of them. Every
I don't know, man.
Family Guy.
I just don't
it's just a
see
trope.
it that way.
It's
I don't know.
It's a sitcom trope. The bedroom thing is a sitcom trope. It's in every sitcom you could
So
think of.
we're in the bed with Hank and Peggy, and Hank's trying to go to sleep. He says, "Come on, Peggy, turn off your itty bitty headlamp and let's get some sleep." I did look up the itty bitty headlamp because I remember when these came out. It was 1982.
It's called the Itty Bitty?
It's
that was the brand name.
It's actually
Okay.
called the Itty Bitty Booklight.
Oh, I got
and
you.
it came in a big box that looked like a novel, right? And you open it up, and it's got all the little pieces inside of it and stuff, and you strap
a hidden, like you would hide your flask in a book kind of thing.
You
but
strap
instead
it,
you hide your
strap
lamp
it onto your head, and it actually plugged in.
Oh,
So
wow.
you were tethered to the wall with a plug, right? But you had
Yeah.
this thing on your head.
It reminds me of all the accessories and stuff we used to have for Game Boys.
Sure. And it was made by a company called Zelco. I don't know that Zelco ever made anything else.
Yeah, I don't know.
So that is my one piece of trivia there so far. Peggy speaks up and says, by the way, she's looking at the holiday coupon. She's cutting out coupons. She's looking at the mall map. She's getting completely ready for this big holiday shopping experience. She says, "This is six malls over Texas, Hank. If you go unprepared, it will eat you alive." 6 malls over Texas.
6 malls over Texas.
That has to be like Mason, to your point, that's like Arlington, I guess, then, right?
Yeah,
because it's near Six Flags.
Yeah, there's somewhere up there. Dallas, Arlington.
Well,
Could be
Arlington's
San
where
Antonio.
Six Flags is, so I'm
Well,
assuming
Six Flags in
it's...
San Antonio, too. Six Flags under Texas or
Well,
something,
yeah,
they call
but
it.
I'm saying they're close to Dallas because it's always Dallas
Or
Cowboys,
Fiesta.
Dallas,
It's like
Dallas
Six Flags
Mavericks,
Fiesta.
all that stuff. you
Rest
know.
in peace, Six Flags.
What I thought was also really weird is Tilly opens their bedroom door and says goodnight to him. She says, "Good night, Peggy. That was a lovely dinner." And then very curtly, she says, "Good night, son."
Yeah, I
Hank-
think she's kind of
Half
upset with Hank.
closed door.
Yeah, Hank says, "Well, Mom seemed to enjoy herself tonight," but you can tell Hank is just he's still pushing down those feelings. Nothing happened. Everything's fine. Nothing to see here, folks. Keep moving. Peggy says, "You defended Troy Aikman more than you defended your mother." He says,
That's funny.
He says, "Mom knows how it is with Dad, and there were 6
drop passes.
All Troy can do is get it there."
Yeah, that's all he can do.
So it cuts away into the night, and now we've got them getting up in the morning at 4 a.m. Peggy's still got her dumbass headlamp on, and she's got, I wrote down here, "Christmas Where's Waldo" sweater, because it's just red and white striped. Yeah, she looks ridiculous. But she is leading the line of ducks out into the car. She says, "Okay, everyone, follow my beam. Hurry carefully." Hurry carefully. It's an odd phrase to me.
Yeah, it is.
Of course, Cotton comes out, and this is where I wrote "Cotton is gross," and he says, "Good morning. Hopes we wasn't too loud last night," assuming that this old man and that poor pregnant lady had sex real loudly in their house.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, if he can't,
His
if
son's
he has
house,
no knees,
mind you.
his son's house.
if
That's
he
right.
has no knees to
Good
bend,
point.
how does that work?
Well, and that's what I'm thinking, right?
He has
I'm just
no knee
thinking.
to bend here.
I'm thinking logistics here, right? She's very pregnant at this point,
Very pregnant,
and he's very small.
and
It's
he doesn't.
simple.
He
It's
doesn't
simple. She
bend.
just hangs off the edge of the bed, and he's just right there.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
He's at least bed height.
Oh, no.
Mason's drawn us a little graphic here. We're good. It's on the whiteboard over there. RogueCon 23. Join the ultimate celebration of digital content with its creators, passionate fans, and industry experts. It's all happening in downtown Waco across multiple venues on January 20th through the 22nd, 2023. Tickets are on sale now at roguecon23.com. She says, hurry carefully. Cotton says his gross ass thing. She says, just so you know, your kids are on your own today. And then Luann says, I'm taking Bobby ice skating at the mall. We're going to go meet guys. And Bobby goes, I'm the bait.
Yeah. What? The guys love single moms.
I freaking love Bobby. He's just,
I love him too.
So they all pile in one car, which is crazy, number one. And then you hear Cotton say, ooh, I forgot how much old ladies stink.
Yeah.
And then Peggy and Tilly don't say a damn thing.
Yep.
Nobody says anything to this man. They both get out and they get in the truck. So they go separately in the truck, which, okay, I guess that checks.
Remember, it's a 2-hour drive.
Yeah.
And they've chosen to take two separate vehicles now.
Just because Cotton's an ass.
Just because he's an ass. And then, good God, you got a fat neck, Hank. That's one of my favorite lines on Earth.
They're driving to the thing, and now you've got Cotton and Luann in the back. You got Bobby and Hank in the front.
I tell my son that sometimes, just joking around with him. You got a fat neck, boy. He's only like 12. He's real little, but.
So yeah, he's in the back, and that's the only damn thing he can say is, "Good God, you got a fat neck, Hank." Hank just says, "So, Dad, I thought we'd split up at the mall," and he goes, "You gonna talk the whole way?" Just such an asshole. Anyway, we are at the mall. Everybody's walking real fast. By the way, I want to point out that Hank's in his Sunday best suit.
He's in a suit.
Oh, yeah.
Sunday best suit.
Yeah, the guys do like overly dressed for the most like non-overly dressed situations.
Yeah,
like Bill has a radio interview.
It's like
dressed up in a suit.
Yeah, it's like they're all going to be pallbearers or something here. So Cotton says, I'm going to head down to the corn dog shack and watch the girlies make lemonade.
Yeah, weirdo.
So they are at the Six Flags Over Texas Mall. It is completely Christmased out in there. Hank says, goodbye, Peggy. She says, no time. She is so intent on getting these specials and these sales and stuff. She is walking along, and my favorite line in this whole show, she breaks her shoe and she goes, "Oh, fire truck!" Instead of using the F word, she says fire truck. I just love that. That sounds like my mother would say something like that. She goes to, and I've written a note here that says shoe cobbler in the mall with about 7 question marks after it. I've never seen a shoe cobbler in a mall.
Yeah, I've never seen a shoe cobbler in a mall either.
It's a great mall. I'm sure there's a doctor's office.
They have the mall. They have this mall in South Dallas. It's in South Dallas and not the best part of town. Mm-hmm. And they have just about everything you can think of in there. They have like T-shirt screen printers where people are just printing T-shirts off right there. They have like grills, like mouth grills and jewelry and stuff. People that just do it right there on the spot. This is a high-class mall. They fit the grill into your mouth at the mall? They do the mold. Like you bite the mold, it does the mold, and then they make the grill, and then so it'll fit the mold to your mouth.
Fantastic.
They do all the jewelry, shoes, clothes everywhere and everything, but it's like a bazaar. Like it's not like a normal store. Like there's a location here. Yeah. It's just like an open bazaar.
Has anybody here ever had a grill? You had a grill?
No, but I'm actually ordering one for the other podcast that I'm doing.
You are?
I'm ordering a grill for the other podcast because I'm doing it underneath another persona.
So wait, if you're ordering one, do they like send you a big chunk of wax or something?
They send you the mold to bite into, or you go to the location and you'll bite into the mold or whatever.
You go to the grill location.
Yeah, whichever one you choose to go
to.
Grills. Well, generally the one that everybody goes to. That's if you want quality, you go to Johnny Dang in Houston.
Johnny Dang
TV in Houston. Yeah. So.
Why is Johnny Dang not a sponsor of this show?
Yeah, I don't know. He should be.
Johnny Dang's Grills, only the finest for your teeth.
Yeah, it's a great plug right there. You guys might get another sponsor.
It is good stuff. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we could do these shows with grills the whole time and just like, Then Peggy went for So she's at the shoe cobbler. She says, how long would it take to glue a rubber sole back onto a lady's loafer? He says, 5 minutes. Lady's loafer? That's a man's loafer. She says, it's a loafer.
There's no such thing.
He says, have it your way.
So indignant.
Yeah. He says, this is going to take a while. So Peggy just kind of sits down and waits. She's starting to relax a little bit. She's worried.
I just don't
about
understand
her
what the
time.
length of time takes. Like if you're gluing it, it takes the same amount of time.
I don't know, man.
Maybe the glue's got a set for a
Right.
14. What was it? 22. How
It's a
big is her
big-ass
foot?
shoe.
Yeah, it's
I don't
big.
know.
Ski size.
Yeah, that's a
Biggest
big
clamp he's
Oh,
got
16
there
and a
in the
half.
shop.
Yeah, that's
16 and a half.
Really clamps.
I think is what they are. 16 and a half. If I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, Artie will tell me.
So the guys are marching down the hall. They passed Lost and Found. They passed gift wrap, and they're all dressed in their Sunday finest. Bill, would you describe that as a pork pie hat, or it's not a
Yeah.
bowler?
Yeah.
Yeah,
pork,
it's like a pork pie.
Okay, so he's got
That's
the
a pork pie.
got the pork pie hat, and then
Which is a really funny hat for
for
Bill to
Bill,
own.
who's a big fat head.
Yeah.
Barely fits.
It's right. It barely fits. Just kind of rests on top of his big dome. Boomhauer, of course, with the Times, he has his jacket on with the sleeves all rolled up, Miami Vice style, looking pretty damn sharp. They come in through the door to the Research Associates focus group, and of course, Khan is sitting there. I don't understand how this thing is 2 hours away, and they know everybody in the damn room.
They know, yeah.
But anyway, Khan.
Bradley's there. Well, you got to think. It's the only mall within 2 hours
Okay.
of
Whatever,
Arlen,
man.
Texas. So
I don't know.
if
I don't know how these dudes found out about this thing, and I don't know how they were invited to it
it was
days
all of
before.
Arlen, like all of Arlen's there.
It's fantastic. Khan, of course, is there.
Remember, it's the busiest shopping day of the year.
It's Black Friday.
Yeah, so everybody is
Yeah,
there.
okay.
Arlen's dead right now.
All
There's
right.
no mom and pop.
Somebody's-
There's no Megalomart.
Somebody's robbing every house in
Yeah,
Arlen.
they're getting
today.
robbed.
The funny thing is, it's Black Friday, but surprisingly, there's not as much bloodshed.
There weren't
at this
many
mall.
shoppers. That's what I thought
Yeah,
too.
it was a
yeah.
very quiet mall. Well,
Yeah.
you got to think though. This is pre-rabid Black Fridays.
Is it?
This is the
I don't
90s.
think it is.
This is the 90s. I remember going to Black
This
Friday
is-
sales in the 90s, and it was not.
This is
anywhere
after-
near it was
I
in
wasn't
the
alive,
2000s.
so.
This is Cabbage Patch Kid. This is after Cabbage Patch Kid craze.
Yeah, but I don't remember it
This
being
is-
like rabid though. I don't remember people being like
I don't know, man.
It is
chunking crap at each
pre-iPhone.
other.
It
The
is
the
pre-iPhone.
craziest stuff
Pre-iPhone,
I
yeah.
remember seeing is people like piling up at a door like Walmart, like
Yeah.
4,000 deep, and just storming into Walmart. But like I've never.
I told you I
don't
saw a
remember
guy
that.
get trampled over a toaster, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was like Tickle Me Elmo time.
That's right.
too.
That's
Yeah.
a
Like
that's
this
a
part of
really
the
good
90s.
reference.
That,
yeah.
that was the new Cabbage
Furby?
Patch Kid.
Maybe like a Furby around this
Tickle
time.
Me
Yeah.
Maybe.
Elmo,
Furby.
Furby.
Oh, yeah.
I saw funny.
Tamagotchi.
Speaking of Furbies, there's this Etsy creator that sells
The thing taken apart.
the completely dissected Furby. He dissects the Furbies and he puts them kind of like how you would do with like butterflies or whatever and pin them to
Yeah.
something. He does that, but when he does it
All
with
the
Furbies,
pieces of the
he
Furby.
dissects it.
So
that's pretty funny.
creepy.
Yeah, you can get in touch with them through what did you say, Johnny Con?
Yeah, Johnny Dang.
Johnny Dang. Johnny Dang knows that guy. So they come in and Con's there and hey, here come leftover turkeys. He thinks that's the funniest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Hank says, "Oh hell, you're here." He says, "I am everywhere you want to be, Hank Hill."
Yeah.
Just wonderful.
The old Visa tagline.
That's right. That's right. And then Jonathan Burrows speaks up. He says, "I am Jonathan Burrows, your moderator. My research associates and I at Research Associates have only one client, the American consumer. Yes, we are being paid by the Mason Corporation, but we're paid to be independent." That's a wonderful.
That is a wonderful
Yeah.
phrase.
That's good
there,
writing.
Yeah.
That's good
We're
writing back
paid
there.
to be
No way.
independent.
We're paid to be independent. So they are. I just want to make a quick reference. They are in a room with a big table. Everybody's sitting around the table. There's a one-way mirror on the wall where you assume people are behind that watching, kind of getting the input and stuff as this guy conducts this thing.
Yeah, the two-way.
Yeah. Now, this is this entire show or this entire episode is a reference to 12 Angry Men. Have any of you ever seen 12 Angry Men?
I have not seen
Heard of
12
it.
Angry Men, but I know it's to do with like
No.
a jury. It's a movie about it, like a jury.
Yeah, 12 Angry Men, one of my favorite movies of all time. It takes place in one room the entire time. It is an old black and white movie, 1957. It starred Henry Fonda, E.G. Marshall, Jack Klugman, Jack Warden, Ed Begley. I mean, lots of really big names at the time, older guys. And basically, they go into this thing thinking that the guy did it. It's a murder trial. And then it's about the deliberation in the room, and it all takes place in this one room. And so as you go through this episode, there's tons of references to 12 Angry Men. Even Bill with his pork pie hat, taking off his shirt later, and all that kind of stuff. It's all It's all.
That's a movie that could use a good remake.
It's been remade several times.
Yes.
Here's what I've always wanted to do, though. Okay, so 12 Angry Men's very dramatic, lot of tension. Guy almost gets killed in the room. You know, the whole thing, right? It's a very good movie, very good story. It was let's see, it was written by Reginald Rose, whoever that is. But anyway, this very angry production, I've always wanted to do it as like kids theater.
Oh, like a kid theater?
I want a bunch of
about like high school or
no.
Oh, younger than that.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
I want like elementary kids doing this.
Oh, that would be hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah.
12 Angry Children. Okay, so anyway, big props to 12 Angry Men. Great movie. Everybody should go watch it.
Go watch it. 1957. I guarantee it's on YouTube somewhere for probably about free $50.
Oh, absolutely. It's for free. Yeah, because
free 45. Yeah.
I used to show it to my classes and stuff. I used to use it as part of
curriculum.
Yeah. No, we just watch movies, but anyway.
That's a curriculum, though, right? In the right class.
It can be, yeah. Because you're talking about conflict resolution.
Have you ever, as a teacher, have you ever taught any classes like that? Like just like specifically a film-based class where all you do is just discuss film?
Never taught a real film-based class, but I used a lot of films and documentaries and stuff in my classes.
That's good. That's good. I liked teachers that used visual aids and stuff like that, as well as stood up there and teaching, because you could only listen to somebody for
the problem
so
you get
long.
into is the TED Talks. Everybody thinks the TED Talks are so poignant, and
but they're
stuff.
they're really not.
Sometimes they're really not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really
sometimes
not.
you can overuse a TED Talk.
It's just some overinflated ego that paid
Friggin' kids
because they
don't-
pay to do that. Like people that do TED Talks,
Kids
it's
do
not
not wanna
free.
watch that.
They
Yeah.
pay multiples of thousands of dollars to be able to stand there and just talk.
Kids don't want to watch 12 Angry
Yeah.
Men either, but
It's easier
No.
to
If
you-
use 12 Angry Men
if you use
than
clips.
a TED Talk.
well, and also I just wanted to
prefer
watch 12
clips.
Angry Men.
I
so-
always preferred clips. We did a lot of clips and movies and stuff when I was in ROTC.
Yeah.
We used to watch like what's that one called? 12 O'Clock High.
Mhm.
We used to watch
Yeah.
we watched that one, and then How I Learned to Love the Bomb, Doctor Strangelove.
Yeah.
We watched that one a bunch. And when we would do it, he would use them as like teaching tools. I don't know how. I don't remember because I was only focused on the movie, but he
Sure.
would use the movies
Yeah.
as lessons, military lessons.
We were supposed to, like, especially when we were teaching high school, middle school, and stuff. You're supposed to get all that stuff approved before you use it.
Yeah.
But
It's better to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission
Yeah.
in those
I
I
situations.
just would take
Yeah.
my chances and play the thing. If somebody walked by, they
It seemed to
walked
have
by.
worked out.
Yeah, I'm not doing it anymore, so it worked out great.
Yeah.
Bill, he says, Bill and Dale come into the room kind of mumbling, right?
Right.
And Dale's like, oh, I'll do all the talking. And then Hank sees them and says, what's the matter? Dale says, well, we may or may not have run into your dad in the men's room, and we may or may not have told him that we are being paid $50 to participate in a focus group, mostly May. And Hank is like, oh, dear God.
Yeah, he's not looking forward to that because this is like his escape.
no.
This is his,
Yeah.
it's his holiday. It's
'Cause
his
he-
Thanksgiving break from
Well,
work.
he literally
and
told him, we're splitting up, and then his dad, of course, is going to go watch the girls
you
make
know
corn
what?
dogs.
I think Hank being at a mall on the day after Thanksgiving is even crazier than anything because Hank should be at work right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's another conversation.
that's
right?
true. That's
I feel
true.
like Hank
Hank
should be at
still.
work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would Hank? Why
It's a
would
big
Hank,
propane
the
day.
man's man? No, but he's a man's man.
Yeah.
Name one man's man that you know that just, hey, let's go. Let's all Black Friday. I'm gonna be up before anybody. Like he's up in the car started. It's early in the morning.
True.
Like he's ready to go.
Well, like he said, he doesn't get up early except unless there's fish involved.
Yes, but he
Yeah.
got up early for a shopping day. I don't know. It seems kind of
So Hank gets up to
iffy
try
here.
to close the door so his dad won't come in, and of course there's Cotton right there pushing
Right
his way
there.
in. He says, "Oh, Dad, that was a close one," and he closes the door. Says, now, what you're going to want to do is turn around, head out the door, and, well, once you're out the door, there's really no wrong turn, trying to get him the hell out of there.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, Cotton's like, get out of my way. And he's,
Get out of my way.
damn it. He closes the door. And then the Jonathan Burrows says, why don't we start introducing ourselves? Con, of course, goes first. He says that he's Con Susanuzaphone, and he is a systems analyst.
And
I
then
think
they
this
say-
is the first time we've heard he's a systems analyst, right?
Yeah, this is the first time you hear
Yeah.
what he does. But what is a systems analyst? What kind of systems? Oh, why
Well, that's
bother
what Hank
explaining?
says. Yeah, he says,
Phone
so
systems.
he
Yeah.
says, so what do you, so that's what you do. What kind of systems? He goes, oh, why bother explaining?
You're already in over your head. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm assuming they're thinking programmer, that sort of thing, right? That sort of stuff. And so they go around the table, and of course Lane Prattley's there, which I think is really odd.
Yeah, Lane
right?
Prattley, which Artie sent me something about this
He
particular
says-
scene here.
He says, "You sir," he says, Lane Prattley Ford, Prattley Hyundai, and I've got my own Prattley Cadillac. My daddy ain't doing so good.
He says this right here is the second appearance. He said that his first was last episode when Peggy was driving the truck at Lane Prattley Chevrolet. Remember, she drove the truck. She did the test
Was
drive.
he the?
That was
I
Lane.
don't think he was the salesman.
Was
he?
that Lane?
I don't think it was.
I don't know.
Oh,
Artie,
yeah.
Artie might be wrong on that one, but if it is, that was it. But he said.
But we've already seen Lane, right? Because he was there when he left Strickland, right? When we had the flashback in the toilet.
that was
That was
Fatherton.
Fatherton.
Oh, that was Fatherton. You're
Yeah,
right.
that-
Yep,
that's
you're right.
Fatherton.
Never mind.
But he says right
Fatherton.
here, he says that in this episode, Prattley says he owns Prattley Ford, Prattley Hyundai, and hoping to add Prattley Cadillac.
Because his daddy ain't doing so good.
Okay, and then in later episodes, he says that he owns Lane Prattley, Cadillac, and Hyundai, assuming that his daddy must have died. So,
Or it was the hostile takeover.
Right, he took over the business.
or the hostile takeover. Yeah, but since his daddy
Yeah,
ain't
he
doing
definitely
so
takes over
good,
town.
we'll assume that he passed here.
So then we're introduced to Boyce Hubert. Do we ever see Boyce Hubert again?
I don't know that we see Boyce Hubert again, but that's also my next trivia bit that I was getting to. I was waiting for you to introduce Boyce Hubert. So
Boyce Hubert, minister, although I've lost my faith, of course, I did find a pretty great parking space on my way in, but the Lord works in such a mysterious way, who the hell knows?
Yep, and that is voiced by Billy Bob Thornton.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Holy shoots.
Yeah, Dwight Yoakam actually does Lane Prattley here.
Oh,
This
does
is
he
the
really?
only time Dwight Yoakam's
Yeah.
been there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wow.
Dwight Yoakam
This
does Lane
was right
Prattley.
after.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that too.
This was right after Sling Blade, I think.
Yeah, this would be around
What,
the time of Sling
97?
Blade, which Sling Blade he did the
Mustard and biscuits.
he did the entire.
Oh, no. Somebody's phone wants to talk to us.
But he did.
Oh no, yeah.
You're
Harry.
good, dude.
No, it's all good. He did. He did the direction and everything on that too. He directed Sling Blade.
Oh, yeah.
That was like
absolutely.
his
Sling Blade's one of my
directorial
favorites.
debut. I feel like I think that was his first movie he ever directed was Sling
Yeah,
Blade.
it's a fantastic one.
Oh, that's one of the
Yeah,
best
he
movies.
got nominated for Best Actor.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, he should have for
actually.
that. That was
And
a great, great movie.
screenplay.
Oh, adapted
John Ritter
screenplay.
was actually in that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, John Ritter was in that, too.
fantastic
Like
in
John
that.
Ritter was
Yeah.
in that.
The kid that he ends up going and doing Friday Night Lights with is in that too. Something
Yeah.
Black, whatever his name is. I think his last name is Black. No, that ain't it. Whatever his name is.
Lewis Black.
He ended up. He was the one that did the Tokyo Drift too.
Yeah.
He was the kid in that movie.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
So next we get around to Hank. He says, "My name's Hank Hill, and of course Cotton busts in and says he runs a gas station. I'm Cotton Hill. I killed 50 men." I hate the way that Cotton treats Hank at this point.
He always
It just
talks
makes me
down on his
very,
job.
Very angry.
Yeah, he always talks down on what he does for a living and stuff. Like, oh, he runs a gas station.
So Jonathan Burrows is over there putting all this stuff into the laptop. Dale looks at him and says, "Is that a real computer?" What kind of question is that? Is that a real
Is
computer?
that a real computer? Yes.
He says yes. He says, "Oh, in that case, my name is Rusty Shackelford." And he lights a cigarette and he goes, "Shackelford." Is this the first time he's called Rusty Shackelford?
Yeah.
Is it?
This
Okay.
is the first time he refers to himself that way. He did tell Hank about Rusty back whenever it was like
Hank-
Yeah.
Hank's dirty laundry.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
let's new identity.
Yeah.
He's like,
So this is the
yeah, I think it's
first
the
time
first
he
time.
refers to himself. It's not
Yeah.
the first mention of Rusty
Yeah.
Shackelford,
Yeah.
but it is the first
First time
reference to
he becomes
himself
Rusty Shackelford.
as Rusty Shackelford. Remember, Hank also tried to use the alias Rusty Shackelford one time when he was escaping the police at the dump.
Sure.
Remember, he was like,
That's right.
I was a sick kid.
Because of all the porn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The porn episode, yeah.
So Boomhauer's next. He says, "Hey, you just go ahead and call me Boomhauer, man. Don't the last name done not a different thing. You know, had a job back there, comps settlement. See, you work comps too, man, tax free." So
here he is saying that he doesn't have a job.
Mhm.
He's living off of workman's
he's
comp.
basically he's almost got like the PP money.
Yeah, the PP money,
You
slipping
know?
on the PP money. But I think right here, this is. I honestly think that he's deep undercover.
He could be. He could
He's
be.
deep
he could be.
undercover.
That
That's-
lends to it. This lends to it here.
Oh,
Since
absolutely.
we find out later that he's that Texas Ranger.
Yeah,
So
which I still think is crazy that that's the route they went with it.
after
For real.
Boomhauer says all that, you see the guy hit tab a couple of times on his computer. I'm assuming he just went past him.
Yeah, he just skipped that guy.
Because who the hell can
We're done.
understand him? Next, you get Bill Dotrieve. He stands up, takes off his pork pie hat, and says, "I'm Bill Dotrieve. I'm Sergeant Barber in the United States Army. I'm 5'8" 3/4 inches tall. My wife Lenore divorced me in the year of our Lord 1991. That's about it." And then he
What
sits
the
down.
hell? Like who in the fuck just stands there and says,
He
"Well, my
just
wife
goes up
Lenore
and
divorced
tells the
me in the
whole
year of
thing.
our Lord 1991."
The entire thing, yeah. The guy says,
So defining.
Yeah, it's such a it is. That's the funny thing. Like the fact that he mentions that shows that is like one of the absolute definition. Like
Oh,
like
it's a
things
defining
that
thing about
defines
Bill,
one
yeah,
of him.
absolutely.
Defines
Such a
it.
big thing for him.
He stopped living when she left. The guy, Jonathan, stands up and says, "Super, what a fine lot you are. I'd now like to direct your attention to the best that the Mason Corporation has to offer." And Hank is so ready for this. He's like, "That's my mower, the Mason 1500. The guy says, "The
Drum roll.
Mason 2500. And he pulls the sheet off the mower, and you get from
The Mason.
everyone, "Good
Sweet Lord, have
Lord."
mercy.
And then Hank, "That's not my mower."
That's not my mower.
This is a big purple mower with a yellow stripe all over it. It
I think
is,
that's a
very
funny line
fancy.
because you know how like prevalent
not
that
my
line
mower.
has been
Yeah.
in politics lately, and the fact that in the '90s that they have this line, "That's not my mower."
It's not my mower. Hey, and
That should be a great political slogan right there for somebody. That's
not
not,
my mower?
my mower.
I don't know if anybody would know what the hell they were talking
Vote
about.
for Senator Birdwell. That's not my mower.
Hey, and that takes us to a commercial break. We are going to take one real quick, and we will be right back.
So, Mike, we've got another St. Angeles candle to burn today.
Angeles.
St. Angeles. We've got St. Germain.
St. Germain?
Yeah.
Hardly knew him.
STJGERMAIN. So this is I don't know. It's a very.
I don't know that Saint.
It's a manly.
new one.
It's a manly smell.
Yeah?
Here.
It is. It is a little. I
I
smell.
don't know. I smell the blackberry. I
Little
smell like a
black currant?
berry, a black currant, like
Yeah.
a currant
Mhm.
smell. And it's funny because black currant in England they have a black currant concentrate drink called Ribena that I used to drink a lot as a kid.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So it's kind of got a hint of that smell in there too.
It sounds like what people in a depressed, water-laden country would drink.
Yeah, it's really
Sure.
good. It's really good stuff actually. And then I can smell a hint of patchouli. I don't know. It's a very
Patchouli.
manly scent.
It is a
So,
little manly.
For
Yeah.
all of you lady listeners,
I can feel the
it's,
hair on my chest growing.
It's reminiscent of the cologne that you would, spray on your pillow from your significant other, or
On your
the-
boyfriend's shirt.
on your boyfriend's shirt, or the hoodie that you stole.
Mm-hmm. On your dog's collar.
The fragrance of men's body odor
Sure.
mixed with cologne.
Fragrance of men's body odor. Yum.
Nah, it smells great. It's a
Burn
great
it.
smelling candle.
It is really good, though. I mean,
It's a very manly scent. So
This thing's-
I like it.
This thing reminds me a little bit of the miracle of the oils too, though. It's been burning for about 7 days.
Her candles burn really, really well. I like how
Yeah.
they burn. They burn real
Yeah.
evenly. Everything just, I don't know. You got to let it after you
Oh.
buy one and you clip
Well
you clip
made.
your wick. You let it burn for 2 hours or whatever, and it's just great.
You got to clip your wick?
You always clip the wick on every candle you buy.
I don't clip a wick.
Well, you're messing up your candles.
How am I messing up the candles if I don't clip the wick?
Well, you have to clip the wick because if you light the wick, it just the wick burns until it settles out, right? So you cut it so it doesn't have all that extra heat and stuff and uneven for your. It's uneven. It'll burn your candle weird and uneven.
I've never read that on the instructions, but I will start clipping my wicks.
Even on the dollar store candles, if you look on the bottom of a dollar store candle, it'll say clip X amount of the wick before burning.
Clip the wick.
So these are not dollar store candles. These are very, very good candles that you can find at
Saint-Angeles.com/candles.
And if you use the creator code KOTH20, you'll get a slight discount on those candles. And we appreciate everybody that's already bought candles from her using our code.
She's been selling some candles.
She has let me know that you guys actually bought some candles. So
you know what she's doing? You know what we're helping her do? Make the world a better smelling place.
It does, because before we burnt this candle, my guts are tore up right now.
Smelled like ass in here. Yeah.
I was just dropping, like toots, like real nasty
dropping
toots. Dropping real nasty toots.
If you drop toots,
Mason could smell it through the glass. So that was great. So yeah, everybody, saint-angeles.com/candles. If you hurry up and order them, you might be able to get it for Christmas. Don't hold me to it because I don't know what the shipping time is. But either way, if you can't get it for Christmas, get it after Christmas. Get it, if you get your tax income check coming in, go and just splurge on that. They do not accept EBT, unfortunately, right now, but I heard that it's in the works.
I was at a gas pump yesterday and something popped up and said they now take Wix, WEX. I don't know what the hell that is.
I don't know what that is either.
But St. Angeles does not take Wix.
They don't take Wix, but they have Wix on deck.
Clip your Wix.
Clip your Wix.
That's right. All right, St. Angeles, great candles. Go buy one.
Saint-Angeles.com/candles, code KOTH20.
All right, guys, we are back, and everyone is gathered around feeling up the mower.
Yeah, they're talking about this. Hank goes, well, that's not my mower. They call this progress. They pushed out all the mower to make room for cruise control, zero turning radius, featherweight space age polymers, optional rear bag attachment, Tommy Hilfiger sports package.
Tommy Hilfiger sports package. Boy,
Hilfiger.
Yeah, Hilfiger. He says, yeah.
He says Hilfiger.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And it is,
my brain said it right because it read it right. But yeah, Hilfiger is what he says.
You talk about placing something in a moment in time. You know exactly when this was.
Oh, it was the era of like the Eddie Bauer packages on cars and stuff like that too.
Tommy Hilfiger loved his sports packages. Con says, I love this mower so much, my heart hurts. The guy says, why? Why do you love it so much? He says, because Hank Hill never be able to afford one on his meager salary.
Which is funny that he always talks about money and money and money and money, and when he's actually just in the exact same situation as Hank, as a middle-aged man just trying to survive.
Yeah. Cotton, of course, he pops up and says, my boy's a pump jockey, works for tips. He says, Dad, I do not work for tips. Pump jockey. He says, Dad, I am not works for tips. Cotton says, I like the mower. It's got a lot of nice curves, like a purty young woman. Hank's mower is like a dumpy fishwife. What the hell's a fishwife?
I don't know, but I am about to Google that because that is something I've never heard of, and I hope it's not like something derogatory.
Oh, it's definitely derogatory. It's got to be.
It is. It's funny. Okay, so
comely.
A fishwife means a coarse-mannered woman who is prone to shouting. In quotations here, it says the shriek of a fishwife. That is the first I have heard of that.
All right.
It is a shouting a great deal and behaving in a very unpleasant and bad-tempered way.
A mean lady. All right, let's
get a word that only a man could create.
Let's we're now going over to the ice skating rink with the big Christmas tree in the middle of it. You hear some loud rock music playing, and Bobby's like, what are we waiting for, Luann? She's trying to get her out onto the ice, to start looking for guys. She says, maybe it's too soon. Bobby, of course, in Bobby's way, Buckley's not getting any deader, Luann. It's time to move on.
Yeah.
They're watching all the skaters and stuff. She says, yeah. He pulls her and says, let's go. And she literally just falls flat on her face right there in the front. And then you hear Rock and Roll Part 2 playing. You know what song it is?
Gary Glitter.
That's it, baby.
Gary Glitter.
Yeah.
That was actually
what a name. What a name.
Oh, here you go. So, a fun fact about Gary Glitter. Gary Glitter was arrested in 1997 and then convicted and imprisoned in 1999 for downloading child pornography.
Wonderful.
He was also convicted and imprisoned of child sexual abuse in 2006.
Way to kill the mood, Rusty.
Convicted and imprisoned in 2015 on charges of attempted rape of minors. So
Can we
Gary
light another
Glitter.
candle
Oh,
in
wow.
here real quick,
Okay.
please?
Gary Glitter was he
like
was on
2 or
some
3.
other shit. Yeah, he's in jail to this day.
I'm
apparently.
assuming that's why you don't hear that played in.
Well,
in,
I'm going to applaud Artie for
Probably.
the investigation here. You know, like
yeah, good job, Artie.
Wow.
So she falls flat on her face. You hear Rock and Roll Part 2 playing, Part 2. And Bobby says, "Are you okay?" And she goes, "It's just that was Buckley and I's song, Rock and Roll Part 2, the
Wow.
one they play at every basketball game."
Yeah.
And then, of course, the ghost of Buckley skates up and says, "Hey." She says,
You gotta leave in the build-up.
Hey.
Da-da-da.
"Dun, ba-da-ba-dum."
No,
Hey.
you just sit. That doesn't matter.
What are you talking about?
No, it goes da-da-da-da. Then he goes,
Hey.
hey.
Oh.
Hey.
You know
Cue
what?
the
I
song.
didn't notice that. I didn't notice that was timed. That's very, very good. So she sees Buckley, and then he goes poof, off into the wind.
I love how
Well,
they do
Harbinger.
that though.
What do you
With
mean?
Buckley, how they
Oh,
still
yeah,
bring him
how
in as
Buckley just
the
comes in every
angel
once in a while.
of. Yeah, it's not Buckley anymore; it's the angel of.
So now we get back at the cobbler. Peggy is waiting on her shoes. He is putting her shoes back onto her, but she is sleeping hard. She is out. We go back to the room with
Which is
all-
odd that the guy is putting shoes on her feet while she's asleep.
Sure.
I just want to.
Well, it's quite an undertaking, I would imagine. We go back to the focus group, and Prattley is going off. He says, "Well, you got to love a product with this many options and add-ons. See, that's where you make your money. You take your options, rear bag. Now, if I had a Mason dealership, I guarantee you, if I walked into my showroom, you'd ride out in a big bag behind your ass." What a great thing to say, Prattley. Bill says, "You sold me pinstripes for my
And
Escort."
then he goes, no. Let me explain to you. I financed your pinstripes for your Escort.
Bill looks so dejected.
He's
Yeah,
a
that's
finger
funny
gun.
as hell. Yeah, that's funny.
The man running the focus group says, "So, if I'm hearing you people, this mower has surpassed your expectations and quite possibly your dreams." Hank is like, "No, hold on. Boomhauer, Bill, and Rusty and me don't like it." Of course, Cotton pipes up again. Of course you don't like it. Anything I like, you don't like. Then when I say I don't like something, for example, your mother, you got to say how much you like her even more." And you see Hank just starting to get pissed.
Yeah, he's getting pissed,
making that piss face. "Please keep my mother out of this," he says.
Which is the most he's said up to this point.
Yeah, and then
He's defended Troy Aikman more.
the guy turns to him and says, "How about you, Rusty?" Rusty? Bill says, "Rusty?" Finally, Dale kicks in. He goes, "Oh, Shackelford. Yes, I am pro mower." Hank speaks up. He's like, "What?" He says, I like the ashtray.
Don't be an idiot, Dale. That's the gas cap.
That's the gas cap. We get more from Cotton. "He's an idiot. He can use it however he wants."
Thank you, Colonel.
He says,
Yeah.
"Thank you, Colonel." And then the guy running it says, "Well, it looks like we're pretty close to a consensus. Now, if we could discuss the electronic seat warmer." Hank starts piping up. "Why would we need our seat warmed? That's what our pants are for, right, Boomhauer?" Boomhauer, he has fallen in love with this mower also. He's like, "I don't know, Hank, dango, get naked on a dango thing, man. I'm going to heat my little vibrate, my feel good, man." So the gentleman running the thing, he says, "So you're in favor of the mower, Mr. Boomhauer?" He said, "Hey, man, dango, listen, man. I don't understand why he's so pissed off. I guess because the guy can't understand him."
That's probably what it is. He's probably getting. I think this might be the first time that you see Boomhauer genuinely frustrated at the fact that somebody can't understand him. Because you got to think of how frustrating that is for Boomhauer that nobody ever knows what he says, so they just ignore him and go on to the next subject.
Yeah.
They just move past him.
Yeah.
Eventually, that's got to take its toll on him, you know. So yeah, he's just saying, "Hey, man, you better goddang listen to me, man." Yeah.
The guy turns to the laptop and just deletes Boomhauer's name. I love that.
Yeah, he's done with Boomhauer.
Hank sighs and just like Boomhauer. And Bill says, "I'd like to make a point." Hank says, "I already made your point, Bill. We don't like it. We like the old model, thank you." The guy says, "Is that the point you wanted to make, Mr. Dotrieve?" He says, "Yes." "No. Hank, you've been speaking for me for I don't know how long." Hank says years and years. He says, "That sounds about right." "Well, starting today, William Fontaine de la Dotrieve speaks for himself." He stands up, takes his hat off again because he's making a point. Here comes Prattley, says, "That a boy, Phil." not his name.
Attaboy, Phil.
And he says, he says, and what I have to say will rock your world. I like the cup holder. And he puts his hat back on and sits down.
That's it.
He loves that cup holder.
And then Hank goes, Bill, we can order you a cup holder, and I'll attach it to you.
No. I'm sorry, Mr. Hill. The guy says, Mason does not make parts for models that are being discontinued. This is the first time that they've heard that the 1500 is being discontinued.
Yeah.
Your mower is, what's a nice word for obsolete?
Collectible.
Bill says, collectible? He says, perfect. And then, of course, Cotton comes back in. Your mower's obsolete, Hank. When something gets old and tired, you got to trade up. All of this is veiled about his mother, of course.
Yeah, it's all about his mom.
Hank says, you mean like you traded in mother? And he says, I didn't trade in your mama. Trade-in has some value. I scrapped her.
Man, he's fucked up.
God, rough.
So this is one of the first times that Bill actually speaks up and sticks up for himself.
That's true.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, that is one of the first times he stands up for himself.
That's a big deal.
Bill does not do that very often.
No, it is a big deal because you got to think of like how we find out how Bill used to be like in later episodes. How he was like he was like the
bulldozer.
He was the alpha male of the group.
Yeah,
even over
absolutely.
Hank,
Yeah,
over
absolutely.
Hank at that time,
Yeah.
he was the alpha male even over Hank because he was a big bad son bitch.
Hank says, listen to all of you. You're hypnotized by a slick mower with all sorts of bells and whistles, and you're going to fall for it. Well, I'm not. My mower is reliable, low maintenance, and has held up damn well over the years. I've got a good mower, and I have a good mother. The guy says, so let's see a show of hands. He's still just pushing. He's trying to get him out of here. He says, so let's see a show of hands. All those in favor of the new model? Bill says, wait. Are we voting for Hank's mom or the mower?
Wow.
The guy says the mower, and he puts his hand straight up. So that's everybody with their hand up, with the exception of Hank. We transition to just a little bit later, and the guy that's running the group, he is standing up at the end of the table. He's eating some pink yogurt, and he says, oh, gentlemen, you've made it clear. The new mower is what today's consumer wants. Dale says, when do we get our $50? And Hank says, we haven't earned it yet. This invitation specifically states that we are to discuss the new lawnmower for 3 hours from 9 a.m. to noon. We still have an hour and a half.
You know what that does? It reminds me of school. Hank would have been the guy that would have been like, oh, yeah, you forgot to take everybody's homework.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he would wait till like the end of the day to do it, too. He wouldn't do it at the beginning of class. It would be at the very end. Yeah.
So this is very much
same
like,
guy that actually brings the invitation to the meeting.
Yes.
Yeah.
But this is very
much
much
the agenda here.
This is very much like 12 Angry Men at this point, because everybody in the room is convinced except one guy at the start of the movie.
Oh, okay.
And he talks them basically into a different version of what's going on.
Yeah, that's what happened to Danny Masterson, the guy from that 70s show.
He was in 12 Angry Men?
No, he wasn't in 12 Angry Men. They had a hung jury recently on his trial.
Yeah.
There was one guy in the room that said, I think he did it, and the rest of them said that they don't think he did.
Oh. So, again, Hank is he's pointing to the contract, and he says, we got some time left here. Let's do this thing. Everybody grumbles. And then Con says, give us a break, Hank. When you little redneck boy, you couldn't defend your mother. Now you compensate by defending your mower. You confuse personal issues with technological. I have father issues too, but this is a good mower. And everybody's just like, yeah. Hank says, no, it's not. And you know what? I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is. I'll put up my $50 less my expenses if you still like the new mower after I've had my say. Dale says, that works out to $7 a piece.
Which is spot on math.
It is spot on math. Cotton says, put on your tap shoes, Shirley. Which, okay. I don't really understand, but sure. We now transition to Luann. She's on the side rail trying to skate. You know how when you put on those skates for the first time or you're just not good at it, you're wanting to fall down and stuff. And, of course, Bobby is automatically good at it. He comes just flying by. Wait till Dad sees this. Bobby has a lot of hidden talents for some reason. We go back to
that put on your tap shoes, Shirley Temple.
Well, yeah,
that's what it is. I wouldn't have thought that. That would have never been my first thing.
Yeah. It's still a weird thing to say.
And the song right here, is Right Now by Van Hagar.
Oh, Really?
Oh, damn.
That's what's playing in the
I'm
background?
pretty sure.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think so. It's a new song.
That's wonderful. Van Hagar.
Van Hagar.
Okay.
We are.
Is that Sammy Hagar's brother?
No. He's talking about Van Halen.
No,
with
that's
Sammy
Van
Hagar.
Halen whenever Sammy Hagar.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
So we're.
Yeah, that's a. Yeah, go ahead.
No, you're good, man. We are back in the room, and of course, Cotton. I'm sorry, we're with Dee Dee and Tilly, and for some reason they're in front of the corn dog store. It is called Stick Doggy Dog Fresh Squeezed Lemonade, and there are two
Stick Doggy Dog.
There are two girls just pumping away furiously on something. I don't know if it's the lemonade or if it's the batter or what the hell it is, but that's a big ass stick they're pumping. Yeah, take that.
Hey, two ladies on
But
they're over there churning butter. Yeah.
So it's Dee Dee and Tilly talking, and Dee Dee says, "I'm sorry about all those things Cotton said about you. It doesn't mean anything. He just doesn't like you." She's such an idiot. Tilly says, "I wouldn't mind Cotton's rantings if Hank would just stick up for me." And this is the first time we really see her disappointment in this thing. Dee Dee says, "Well, if it makes you feel any better, Hank doesn't stick up for me either. His own stepmother. Great point, Dee Dee.
Yeah.
This is one of my
Great
favorite parts
point.
about this show is like the deadpan look
Oh,
of
yeah.
characters after something ridiculous is said.
Oh,
She just
absolutely.
stops. And there's a hard pause there, and then bam, we're on to the next scene.
Yeah, his own stepmother. And
So funny.
Oh, this is where we see the priest again, right?
we are
Preacher.
back. Yeah, we're back at the focus group, and we've got Hank talking. He's got his coat off now, so everything's starting to get hot. This is the same thing from 12 Angry Men. People started taking their shirts off and all this stuff because it was so hot in this room, and they're all in there, and they don't want to be there. Hank says, "Now, you folks think that just because this mower is new and improved, we should just get rid of the old one, right?" Everybody's like, "Yep, that's about the size of it," says Dale. He says, "Hold on for a second. A lot of great things in life are old, like Old Glory, Old Faithful, Old Testament." And then here we get the Reverend, "Thou shalt not kill." Just because a baptism turns into a little drowning, everybody's got to blame somebody.
Yeah, terrible. Reverend, that's an awful thing.
That's fantastic. Yeah, Prattley, he's like, "Reverend, that's an awful thing." So the guy speaks up, Prattley says, "Can I ask you a question? What kind of car do you drive?" He says to the Reverend. And the Reverend says, "A Mitsubishi Diamante."
I looked up a Diamante.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure that's
Yeah, it's a
a
lovely,
99. I
lovely
imagine.
car.
I think that's the season. Yeah, it was a 9. We're in 99. The year 99.
Like a Corolla.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much just like a Corolla.
He says, "Hank, if you're just about through here, I'd like to take the good Reverend over to the lot and put him behind the wheel of a brand new pre-owned Sonata."
What a great line.
That is a great line.
Brand new.
That's Prattley in a nutshell.
Pre-owned Sonata.
Well, that's what I like about Prattley is they make him like undyingly the car salesman. He's always talking about how to sell a car.
He's definitely a car
Oh yeah,
salesman,
you know if you get that, if we had these in my dealership, you'd be riding with a bag underneath your hind end. Yeah.
Hank says, "I'm not through here yet, Lane. Let me ask you this: if you buy this mower with all the bells and whistles," he says, "Well, hell yeah." He says, "So you'd be the one paying all that dealer markup, right?" And Bill says, "You'd be just like me." And then Prattley pops up with, "Oh, hey now, Hondo." Anybody know what Hondo is?
Hondo.
All right, Hondo.
So like Tonto?
Hondo is a 1953 movie starring John Wayne.
Oh yeah, okay. I was thinking of Hondo, Texas. There's also a city called Hondo.
Hondo.
John Farrow. It was one of them John Farrow flicks, them John Farrow westerns.
It came out in 3D when it came out.
With the glasses?
Yep.
Whoa.
It was the
John,
old-
they had John Wayne 3D movies?
the old blue and red
I'm
3D.
surprised. I'm
Next level.
surprised he
Yep.
would be on board with something like
And
that.
what's so weird is it's not a movie that you would think would be in 3D. It was just because 3D was a thing. It's about him being almost like a bounty hunter kind of thing, and he's riding through, and he comes across these, I believe it's Apaches, and there is a white woman and her little daughter living amongst the Apaches, and he tries to save them from the Apaches.
Oh,
and
wow,
stuff. So
okay.
that's
All
what
right.
that's where Hondo comes from.
Hondo.
Not sure why he's calling people Hondo, but all right. He says, "Oh, hey, now, Hondo, just a second here. Those goddamn Mason sons of bitches, I'm changing my vote." So he's got one, right?
He's got one.
He's got one that's flipped, and he did it the right way. He told him he appealed to his senses, about being the guy who's being taken. Hank says, all right, then, we're making some progress here. Now, Boomhauer, you like that electric seat warmer? He goes, yo. He says, it sounds like a good thing. I'll give you that. But Boomhauer, when you ride your mower, where do you keep your beer?
Between the legs.
Man, I'm planting a dang old beer right between the legs, man. He says, between his legs. He says, in other words, the electronic seat warmer is heating up more than just Boomhauer's can. It's also heating up his can of beer.
Oh, man, I don't want warm beer. Like I got that dang old Euro trash man drinking that dang old warm crap.
Euro trash.
Dang old Euro
Euro
trash,
trash.
man. He says, all right, Boomhauer's on board. That makes 3 of us. So give me an idea here. So we got Boomhauer.
There's 9 people in the room,
Right.
including
we
the.
got Hank, we got Boomhauer, and we've got Prattley now, right?
So we're almost there. We're almost
So
to a
those
consensus.
3. Dale, of course, says, you'll never sway me. I am unswayable. Hank says, I'd be a little more impressed with you, Dale, if you didn't have chocolate chip crumbs all over your eyebrows. This one, to me, is one of the this one and where he gets the Reverend to drive the thing. These are the 2 smartest ones to me.
Yeah, I believe so.
Right?
Yeah.
He says, Dale, I'd be a little more impressed if you didn't have chocolate chip crumbs all over your eyebrows. He says, no way. He says, see for yourself, and points him to the 2-way mirror. He goes, hey, you're right. And then he turns on the light. I don't know how he turns off the lights in there and keeps the lights on in the other room, but Hank figured out how to do it. He sees all the people behind the glass looking at him. Dale, of course, is like...
I don't know how you get chocolate chip crumbs on your eyes.
I don't know.
I don't
You
know
have to put your
either.
face
How
into the...
how madly are you eating these cookies?
You are
there's
eating
some
them
damn
pretty
good
damn
cookies.
madly, that's right.
Either he's eating them crazily or they're just some
Nom,
damn
nom,
good
nom.
cookies.
So he sees the people. He sees the people behind the one-way glass, and he goes, who are these people? The guy says, oh, those are just the people sent here to monitor your thoughts and opinions. Get inside your head. And Dale freaks the hell out. I mean, that
Hauls
is the
ass.
key.
He's gone.
That is the key to freaking out Dale. And Hank immediately says, that's 4. He got 4. So we're back at the cobbler. Peggy is still asleep. She is drooling all over the place. We just get this quick aside of her just snoring the whole time.
Yeah.
We go back into the room. The guy who's running, he says, all right, I think I've got enough positive and negative comments to put together a very positive report. Bill at this point is Bill at this point is in his undershirt using his pork pie hat to just fan himself. That is a quick callback to 12 Angry Men. Hank says, not so fast. I've still got 30 minutes. And we just see this like scene after scene of cans piling up and more trash on the table and everybody getting more and more tired. Everybody just being,
Oh, yeah.
They're getting into it.
Everybody's
Like
exhausted at this
17
point.
beers, I think,
Yeah.
total. And Dale's over here getting trashed with like 4 or 5 in front of him.
That's a fantastic point. I did not count the beers. Good job.
It's a lot of beer.
Yeah. And I don't really understand having beer at a focus group, but whatever. That's
Whatever
that's
it
wonderful.
takes.
Keep them comfy.
Yeah, keep them comfy.
They make a positive report.
Well, the thing is, like, it seems like they're in there for just hours and hours and hours. The whole total thing is only 3 hours long.
That's
you
it.
know?
Yeah, just 3
But
hours.
these guys look like they've been in there for just hour
I
after
mean,
hour.
3 hours in a room like that would feel like forever.
That's true. That's
It would
true.
be a lifetime, yeah.
Like the tension.
So we
You
go.
got free beer, though.
That's true. Free beer and chocolate chip
I've
cookies
never heard
to
of
rub
it
on
for
your
and
face.
$50.
Yeah.
Yeah, and $50. That's right. We
Sounds
go
like Jerry Springer.
we go back to the regular action, and Hank is finishing up, and he goes, and Taiwan won't be far behind. And second, and then Khan has just had enough, and so he starts spinning around in his chair, singing "Rock the Casbah" by the Clash, and he spins and spins, and so much that he just falls down. Hank says, "That's it," and he has a big idea. He said, "This is a zero-turning radius mower, is it not?" He goes over there and kicks the tires on the mower. He says it has a rear bag option, and it's made of ultralight space-age materials. Taken alone, each one of these things might be good, but combined, they're a prescription for terror. Prescription for terror. Overstating it a little bit there.
It is, but it's kind of funny that he's making these observations because, just because it has all those 3 things combined doesn't mean that it's going to be, a sound piece of equipment because it has all these options.
After he says prescription for terror, the guy speaks up and says, I don't see or like where this is going. Hank says, Reverend Hubert. His immediate reaction is, I didn't drown that boy. He's Hank just to Hank's credit, he just keeps going.
Yeah, I just touch the quick on the celebrity appearances. It's funny how they use celebrity voices in King of the Hill.
Yeah,
they don't have big, huge scenes.
No,
they don't have
really
long, drawn out whole parts of the TV show unless it's like Dusty Hill. But I just wanted to point that out.
I didn't drown that boy.
I didn't drown him.
Hank continues and says, "Would you do me the honor of getting on the mower?" He says, and so he does. He says, "Now drive to the wall and execute a 180-degree turn." And so he starts driving. He starts trying to turn around. He says, "Now engage the 0 turning radius." And the whole damn thing spins out of control, just like Con did. He falls off the mower, and the mower crashes into the wall. And it crashes pretty good, too. It's a pretty solid-ass wall, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, how do they have like gas in this mower? Like they're in a small room.
That's it.
Yeah.
Carbon monoxide.
That's it.
Like, come on, y'all.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't think that any of these guys are worried about a little carbon monoxide.
Well, that's true too.
Oh no, they're not. Yeah, with Dale probably chain smoking the entire time in the room.
Con speaks up and says, whoa, that could happen to me. I hate this mower. So now Hank's got another one, right?
Yeah, there's another one.
Said, there's your space-age polymers. There's your 0 turning radius. There's your rear bag option. Then the cup holder just kind of falls off and breaks. And Bill, he's like, "Oh, my cup holder. Oh, now I know why you're always speaking for me, Hank, because I'm never right and you always are."
And then Hank goes, "Bill, if I'm always speaking for you and I'm always right, that means you're always right too, doesn't it?"
This logic is so screwed up.
Doesn't it? No, I love the logic because Hank has to babysit this grown man 9 times out of 10. And the fact that he could use this childlike, because this is what you would tell a child.
Yeah.
You're like, "Oh, well, it's okay. Eat your green beans. I think for you. So, it'll be okay for you. If I tell you it's good, it's good."
He says,
that kind of thing.
"I think for you and I'm always right. That means you're too. You are too, doesn't it?" He goes, "It does."
Yeah.
Bill goes, "It does. It does. How do you like that? I'm always right. And so Hank says he's got everybody but one of them. And so the only one left is Cotton. Cotton, of course, says, "Preacher, if you're all still in the baptizing business, I'd like you to drown my boy Hank."
Damn.
What a shitty thing to say.
Wow, next level.
Could you please kill my child?
Next level.
Wow.
So next we get Tilly and Dee Dee. They're going down the hall. They're looking for a bathroom. She says, they said the ladies' room was the second door on the right, so this must be it. When they open the door, it's the observation room to the whole thing. And they overhear Cotton speaking. "I'll tell you who's getting my vote, the guy who figures out a way to strap an old woman onto an old mower and run them both off a cliff." It's just so terrible.
It is. It's not even like...
She's not even there.
Well,
right.
She's not even there. Well, not only that, usually old men that I know in my life, they usually try to make that they may say some misogynistic stuff like this, like that, but they try to do it in a light way that's a joking. It's like it's almost
he doesn't even know what the hell a joke is.
But he's like, "Strap an old woman to a mower and throw her off a cliff. Ha ha ha! That's a knee slapper." Yeah.
So Tilly is now
harboring a lot of hate there.
Yeah,
Boy,
a lot of hate.
Harboring a lot of hate.
Well, I do like, though, when he does get sentimental, because you do see that whenever he has those episodes where he kind of breaks down a little bit and they have to go chase him down and stuff like that, he does get real, like he does know he has a problem. He just doesn't know how to deal with it.
Tilly and Dee Dee are behind the glass watching all this and listening to all of it. And she says, "Oh, no, he's doing it again. It's in public." He said, "Don't get me wrong, Mr. Khan. I like a woman with a big butt, but Tilly was taking advantage of the situation." Hank has just about had enough, which it's a lot. He says, "All right, I've had enough, Dad." He said, "Don't talk to me, Dad, boy. I'll tell you when you've had enough." He said, "No, Dad. My mower is not too old, and my mom is not too old. But this isn't about my mom, and it's certainly not about my mower. It's about a bitter old man who blames everybody but himself for all his own problems. And if you ever talk about my mom or my mower like that again, you are not welcome in my house."
Amen.
That is
good for Hank.
Huge.
Yeah, amen indeed.
And then you
it's
get
a big deal.
Yeah, that is a big deal. Him stepping up to him, and then here you get first time. I think that's the first time that he stands up to Cotton in such a defining way, for sure. But I like the part here where he's kind of like at a loss for words. Cotton is, and he said, "You got a fat neck, boy."
He just takes his $50 and walks out.
Yeah, that's it. Then he dips out of there.
So the guy running it, or the Reverend comes up to Hank and he says, "Well, I'm not sure if there's a God or a heaven, but one thing I can tell you is your daddy's going to hell."
Yeah.
Such a great line.
Yeah, definitely.
So
what a great delivery by Billy Bob there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, great delivery. Yeah,
absolutely.
I like that. Which, again, Billy Bob, he's phenomenal.
So
Drama
they're all leaving the focus group. Everybody's just tired as hell. They've all got their jackets off, sleeves rolled up. They're all sweaty. And Hank runs into Tilly out in the hall, and she says, "Hello, son. How was the focus group?" He says, not so great. And now I got to do all my shopping. What shopping's he got to do? He got no shopping to do.
Yeah.
He says, "Have you thought about what you want for
Dallas Mavericks crap?"
Yeah. He says, "Have you thought about what you want for Christmas, Mom?" She says, "I don't need a thing from you, Hank. You've given me enough already." And we get that sweet moment with both of them walking out. It's fantastic. The next thing we see, this is a weird scene to me.
Super weird scene.
They're all waiting in the truck in front of the mall. And then we see Peggy asleep drooling. And number one, they're closing the metal gate on her. They're just going to leave her in the damn.
Nobody woke her up. Not even the cobbler.
Wake this lady up, yeah.
The
Well,
cobbler's just going to leave a human
Need
in
a
his store.
security
Well, I'm
gate.
convinced that
Yeah.
shoe cobblers are elves that disappear at night.
Oh, well, that would solve all of it.
So
yeah.
he just
got to.
disappeared. Like he was there, and
Yeah.
his time came. He turned into a pumpkin or whatever, and
I turned into a pumpkin.
I don't
Is
know.
that what they?
I have no
Okay.
clue. Well, there used to
what's
be
in
an
a
old
shoe
shop.
store that you need to put a security gate down anyway.
Yeah. What kind of shoe store? Well,
What are
I
they
don't
gonna
know.
do?
You got to protect the
Your-
nails.
your
Especially in the
bench grinder
90s.
there?
Foot Locker.
Yeah, Foot Locker.
Well, there's also all that
Yeah.
glue that the teenagers want to get in there and sniff.
Oh,
All
yeah.
that shoe
Gotta huff
glue.
'em.
Yeah, you got to put that shoe glue. We got to lock up that shoe glue.
Dude,
Shoe
Jordans
glue.
exist at this point.
Hank is.
Yeah, they do, but not. I don't think that Jordans exist in such a rabid way at this
Oh,
point
yeah.
because he's still playing basketball at this time.
Hank is.
He's not retired yet. You got to think 96, 97, 98, the Bulls, they were like, the
Yeah.
96 Bulls is arguably like one of the top 5 teams ever in basketball.
Sure.
Well, what about his baseball year? Or
Oh,
his
his-
sports betting?
Wasn't his baseball
Yeah, to
year
take
around
off
97,
there.
98, 99,
Yeah,
somewhere?
right.
I think it was like right
it
after
was
the
a three-peat. Yeah, they
When
did
he
the
left and then
three-peat,
came
I think
back
he took
and-
a break and then did 3 more.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So
they
it
did
was
3 more
around this
after it.
time, I think.
Because, he went and played baseball and then came back and played 3 more seasons, yeah.
So Hank is
Yeah,
now
Space Jam.
Yeah, Space Jam.
Yeah, Space
indeed.
Jam.
Hank is now he's captaining the truck, which he drove the car there to begin with. Hank says, "Well, I guess Peggy got a ride home with Cotton. Huh? I'll be dipped." And then he drives the hell off.
And she's just laying there.
Well, and not
asleep
only
inside the
that,
mall.
we're assuming that he let Cotton drive the car back. I guess Cotton just had the keys magically, and he just
Yeah,
drove
I
off.
guess so.
Yeah.
I just wish we got to see how they.
Like Peggy
The
waking
aftermath,
up,
yeah.
where everybody, like her waking up in like 2 a.m. in the middle of the mall.
Or
And
Hank,
and
or
lock-
Hank getting back home and was like, "Wait, where the hell's Peggy?"
Where the hell's
Well,
Peggy?
and just
Yeah.
her locked in a
Puts on her
store.
headlamp.
Yeah.
How
Oh, yeah,
long
with
were
the
they
headlamp
there though?
on.
How
That's
long
right.
were they at the mall? That the mall is now
All
closing.
day apparently.
All damn day. Yeah.
Took them 2 hours to get there. So if they left at 7:30, they
big
got there at 9:30.
It's a big sale, man.
Mall
It
closes at
early.
9, so they were at the mall for 12 hours.
It's 12 hours.
Golly.
What did they do for 9 hours after the focus group?
It's
Yeah.
mostly corn dog stuff.
I guess.
Yeah.
They're not
episode.
looking for
Great
Peggy,
episode.
that's for
It
sure.
is a very good
I like this
episode.
one.
We get the credits, and during the credits, of course, we get pump jockey. Not working. I'm working for tips. So it's such a good episode.
Yeah.
It's a really timely episode for us too. I was afraid that it was mostly Thanksgiving heavy, but it's a really good Christmas episode.
Yeah, it is a Thanksgiving episode, but it's got
It's not really. I
It's
mean,
not.
did
It's a post.
Christmas shopping.
It's a post Thanksgiving episode. I feel like everybody calls it a Thanksgiving episode, but I think in the vein of a true Thanksgiving episode is it has to end on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah.
Like you got to end with everybody eating, and that's the end of the like they do with the one in the airport, that episode.
Yep.
That ends on Thanksgiving with them eating potted meat.
Well, this was a really good one.
Yeah, we appreciate you being with us, Seth.
Thanks, Seth, for being here. We
Yeah,
really
I
appreciate
had a
your
great
input.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
glad you had a
wonderful.
great time. Yeah, anytime you want to be on, man. If there's another show down the line that you want to join in on, just let us know, and we'll get you in here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I will. I got a list of favorite episodes, and I'll definitely let you guys know which
Yeah, man.
ones
Just let
I'd
us
like
know.
to contribute to.
That's wonderful.
Alrighty,
Wonderful.
well, we'll get you out of here, Seth.
Thanks for all the
thanks for
input.
joining.
So, Rusty, where can they find us?
Well, I went ahead and consolidated all the links for you guys into one short, sweet link tree. So you could go to
Consolidation.
linktr.ee/BWAAKOTH. And that's got every link you need. That has our new music playlist that Mike and I are
Oh,
going
boy.
to have curated, but it's going to change. It's going to be an evolving playlist, but it is a music playlist of mine and
It's not all
Mike's
King of the Hill
musical taste.
music.
It's not.
Just stuff
It's
that
our
we
music.
like.
It's
Yeah.
music that we like, and it's called BWAAKOTH Musical Taste Buds.
Musical taste buds.
And you
better
could
be some Randy Travis in there.
There is no Randy Travis in there yet.
Lots of Randy Travis.
But Mason, actually, if you send me your Spotify, or I'll send you, if you send me your email, I'll send you the link to where you could join in and you could add stuff to it as well.
Gotcha.
So there you go. BWAAKOTH. That's a link tree now. You can go to Linktree.
Yeah, it's cool.
And find us at BWAAKOTH.
All right. Any other shows that you would like to listen to, you can go to roguemedianetwork.com. And we've got some good ones. And don't forget about RogueCon 23 on January 20th through the 22nd of 2023. Tickets are now on sale at roguecon23.com.
And we'll also be doing something there.
We'll be doing a live
King of
show
the Hill
there,
will be
yeah.
doing a live show there.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to add some elements of to make it live for you guys as well. So you should be able to see us on Twitter or whatever whenever we do that. I'll give you more information as more information is available to give you.
All right, guys. Well, that is it for
That's
us.
it.
And thanks again to Seth for joining us. Thanks again to Mason for on the ones and twos. And we will see you next time.
That's a wrap. Wimatanye.
Wimatanya indeed.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast. Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hey, I'm Zach,
And I'm Mike.
and we have a fantastic new podcast to tell you about. Bros, Foes, and Heroes. It's the two of us looking into the world of comics, breaking down some characters that you may have never heard of, and some that are just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so Zach comes up with a character each time, and I go into it just completely blind. I don't know who this person is or what their abilities are or anything, and basically I guess we kind of go over their origin story and just some of the ridiculous stuff that maybe, especially Golden Age stuff.
Oh, Golden Age stuff is always the best, and we will make sure to highlight all of the shenanigans and just absolute weirdness of everything.
Yeah, that's right. So subscribe today and follow us on Instagram at Bros, Foes, Heroes.
And if you don't, I know where you live. Not really, but please subscribe.
Frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Welcome to One Star Rewind, a new podcast about those dreaded one-star reviews that every business owner hates to receive, but yet every customer loves to read. During this podcast, we will peel back that one-star review to better understand how it happened, when it happened, and what the business owner is doing after receiving that one-star review. This podcast will be about love, hate, and laughter. On One Star Rewind, we will meet with real business owners who will tell their stories and how they do rely on reviews for their business. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or download us at roguemedianetwork.com. Please subscribe, but only rate and review for not a one-star review. Join us each time for a new review and a new story.